Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time that you will be watching this podcast. And welcome to We Deliver Podcast. My name is Fatuma Hassan. I am the Communication and Public Relation Associate at Crestwood Marketing and Communications. And today I am just joined by a very outstanding yet very talented individual. His name is Job Ayub Mwanga. He's a man of many talents, so I let him do the introduction and tell us who he really is. Surprisingly, he has a background in the science field, but yet again, he works in an agency. He has been working in an agency for the longest time, so there is a lot to learn today. Buckle up, and I hope you enjoy this conversation. Hi, Job.
Hi, I've already buckled up.
Thank you for making time to join us today.
Thank you so much.
I am really excited to start this conversation.
I'm really happy to be here. I think I'm really blessed and fortunate, I think, to be particularly present in this space. You know, and having worked with this particular team over the last couple of weeks has just been nothing short of legendary.
Yeah.
So I think, as you said, my name is Job.
Mwanga. I'll let you go ahead with that because we're already in a story space. I'll let you introduce yourself. Kindly tell our viewers who you are, because this is the first time we're having you on the podcast.
Absolutely. And I'm a huge fan of the podcast, by the way, I must say.
Thank you.
My name is Job Mwanga. I would like to define myself as a creative. However, in a lot of spaces that I interact with people, they then refer to me as a communications professional, right?
Nice.
My training was in the sciences. I'm actually trained to be a biochemist. That's really what I did exams for and I went to school for. However, the passion for design came, I think, when I was, shifting right from high school as I was going to university, right? And I used to have an elder brother who, used to do a lot of poster designs. He used to do a lot of, music video shooting and editing, and that really absolutely fascinated me. So one day he came back home. He was hustling with a deadline. Opened his machine, opened Photoshop, and told me, Job, please design this poster. This is the brief. By the time I get back, make sure it's designed. I'm gonna give you 5K.
Wow! So the money.
And I was in campus, so I was like, you know what, dude? I was gonna go for that 5,000 bob. You don't know how you did it, but you figured it. I figured. I know the poster was really bad.
Yeah, because it was your first poster.
It was really bad.
Normally nice.
But that started me on this particular journey.
Oh, that's how you ended up in the creative space.
That's how I ended up in the creative space.
This is a very interesting journey, finding an individual who, has a background specifically in the science field, and then you eventually find yourself in creative field. It's two different opposite fields that does not have any kind of relations,
Absolutely. I however think a lot of my training actually informs a lot of what I do even right now. I must say at this point that I'm a very huge proponent of design thinking.
Oh, nice.
What others would then call human-centered design. And that means that then for every intervention you're developing, for every solution you're providing, you must put the end user in the middle of that particular intervention. I believe roads are designed for people. Roads are not designed for cars, right? And I usually see a huge mistake, especially in our industry, where solutions are not designed for the person who is intended to use them. So it's one of the biggest benefits, I'd say, has carried me over from my training into my professional work right now. Well, he just mentioned something to do with human-centered design, and it reminds me that our creative director, had recorded an episode focusing on human-centered design and principles and whatnot. So if you don't know what that really is, because Job has just briefly mentioned it, kindly consider checking out our previous episode, and you'll find our creative director, who is Stanley Onyango, who had discussed this. Thank you for actually, telling us about human-centered design and just carrying us along into that short description. Because it will actually inform how this podcast, moves forward. So I wanted to understand if you could tell us how, or rather, for how long have you worked in an agency, and that journey. We want to understand the journey. It's been a minute. I think I've collected grossly now over 12 years of experience, of progressive experience.
Wow,
that's quite a bit of time, right?
It's a lot. So
I think the short version is my passion for design started with graphic design. So learning the softwares, the Adobe Creative Suite, and I'm talking about 2008, 2009, those days, right? Then I moved into t-shirt design, right? So I I even set up like a small company of mine,
Yeah,
where I'd actually print, so I'd like print, like do the designs, print them on the t-shirts and hoodies and whatnot and sell, right? Then I got an opportunity to work with an international organization. I was hired as a graphic designer. When I went in on my first week, I discovered actually that the description for that role was actually a communications manager.
Oh, wow.
Right? But they hired for a graphic designer. So I had a very steep learning curve. I had to learn how to write. I had to learn how to report. Right?
You had to do
I had to learn. I had to learn how to present. I had to learn how to build communication strategies. Right? It was a big project with a regional scope. The communication team for that particular project was myself and one of my colleagues who was doing the web bit. So it was a really steep learning curve. Did that for about 6-7 years. Then I transitioned into now what then you would call the fast-paced agency life. Where the deadline is always last week.
Everything is needed so yesterday, yeah? We are
So the client calls you, the client calls you, gives you a brief. They have no idea what they want.
But you have to figure it out.
You have to figure it out and deliver it a week before.
They expected it last week.
So yes, my experience in agency life has just been nothing short of amazing. The people I've gotten to work with, the amazing projects I've actually gotten to work with as well. I've worked with a bunch of absolutely talented people. I've been really fortunate to work with really big brands as well. We've worked with small brands and it's been such a joy looking at how we've been able to build concepts from nothing, right? And build them and see them actually transform into something really, really meaningful.
I'm trying to comprehend how it felt like for you as a graphic designer, because I interact with creative rather a lot, and I see them struggle with breaking down communication materials. So I'm trying to understand how at that time when you are given the role of a communication person, but then you are given the role of a graphic designer, but then you're doing the role of a communication person. It must have been a lot. You had to learn, It
was a lot. Let me give you one example. On one of my very first tasks, I was asked to lay out a particular publication, right? So I laid it out, submitted it to my bosses. Then my boss called me and told me, Job, I'm really disappointed in you. This really looks nice, but there's spelling errors, there are grammatical errors. And I'm like, dude, my job was to lay out the product. Then he goes, no, we actually expected you to be able to furnish us with a complete product. Wow. So in a flash, and I was young, I was at a phase where now I really wanted to, grab and, absorb everything that came. So it was a blessing in disguise. Like now that I have the benefit of hindsight, that particular opportunity really helped to, build my own skill set. So I really upskilled within that particular space.
You actually did, because the work I see you do around here, I'm like,
thank you.
Very well rounded.
Thank you.
There is a lot that individuals can actually learn from you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
So I'm thinking about how you've just described to us how your experience in an agency has been. It has been nothing short of fun and learning, a lot of learning. And reminds me that a couple of days ago we were having a conversation with team members, and our creative director was telling us how could you imagine how life working outside an agency really feels like? It must be very boring because, So I just want to understand, I want you to give us your experience working in an agency, in the sense that give us the fun side and the bad side and the crazy side and, all that.
Now you're putting me on the spot, Fatuma. You're putting me on the spot.
I just want to understand.
That's a really solid question, actually, to be honest. I think we would always like to praise, agency life. It's fast-paced, it's amazing, the adrenaline is high. I think for me, one of the main reasons why such a space excites me, and when I talk about that, I'm actually really excited. Anytime, every single day I've worked in an agency, and this is the truth. When it gets to home time, I tell myself, oh my goodness, it's home time. I have to dash home, and I can't wait to come tomorrow early to complete my project.
Yeah, that is true.
And I promised myself in my work, the day I'll ever look at the watch and say, oh my goodness, the day is not ending yet. That's the day I'll quit.
Yeah, you'll quit.
Right?
You'll quit.
So
Agencies, you actually don't realize time has ended. You're like, you want extra. You're asking, what? I've not finished on this. Yeah.
I was even asking our colleague who is our resident bishop to petition God to add us 3 more hours in a day, because at this rate, I'm telling you,
I feel like the 8 hours is no longer enough.
That's 8 hours is no longer. Anyway, so I think one amazing aspect of agency life is that you're able to, number one, work in a creative space with other creatives.
Yeah.
Right? And for me, the collaboration, looking at sometimes the original idea and the end product, I usually like contrasting that in, I think, almost all projects I handle, right? So I look at the first raw idea, that baby, right? And I look at how teams collaborate, the creative directors, the communication and PR guys, the animators, the copywriters. I mean, you look at it come to life and you look at the final product. Let me tell you, your jaws will drop. And mine drop every single time. Yeah. Okay.
Every other time we do a campaign, you know that you're going to come up with a nice idea, one that you've never heard of before.
Yes.
Or if you've heard of it, then it's going to be bigger than the previous one. And I think
by the time you're starting, all I know is the end product will be great. I have no idea what it is.
No idea. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the journey is usually like really, really interesting. I think the second thing about working in an agency that's really, really amazing as well is I think you are not forced per se, but your peers push you to learn.
Yeah.
So you have to be updated with the latest technology, right? We've been grappling, I think, of late with how then do we incorporate AI in our project. And there's the natural push for passionate creatives to push each other to grow. Yeah. And that's a huge element why I absolutely love working in an agency.
Well, guys, agency is going to the one thing that he's trying to say here is that agency is going to take you out of your comfort zone. If you don't want to learn,
that comfort zone, no, that comfort zone is
around here. People don't do routine. You wake up today, you come and you're told you have a client in the what field, in the agriculture field, and you're like, what?
Yes.
How am I supposed to come up with a campaign in the banking sector? And you'll have to do it eventually.
Yes.
So I see you've mentioned all the glitter of agency, and that is a good thing, but then we cannot have a good thing without the bad side. So I just want you to mention some of the challenges that you have experienced with your experience of 12 and counting years of working in an agency. What are these constant challenges that you've experienced so far?
I think that's a solid question, actually. I think it's usually good when you're analyzing a situation, you just don't look at all that glitters. I think one of the things that I must mention is that in my experience, a lot of the clients we work with have no idea what they want.
100% agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to any of my colleagues here, whether it's the creative design team, whether it's the animators, whether it's the copywriters, the client has no idea what do you know what the client wants? Increasing their bottom line.
That is true. They just want to see the lead.
So the client will tell you, know what, I'm looking for this particular campaign and I'm willing to pay you X amount of dollars, right? And I need to see these many clients working in. So what I've discovered is, and for some, I think in my formative years, it was really painful because converting a client is the last step.
Yeah, it's actually
in any communications, marketing, or advertising initiative. It's the last step.
But then the client wants to see magic.
The client wants to see magic on the first day. Right? So you're starting a digital campaign on day one. They're asking you, how many web conversions do we have?
Yeah. Why am I not seeing the rates increase? Yeah.
And you're like, bro, hold up.
Creating awareness. That just look at your point here.
So I think just having a culture where you actually hold the client's hand and you build some mutuality to understand that this is going to be a process, right? That moves from point A to point B to point C. Getting to that eureka moment has been a long journey for me personally. Before, it used to be really, really bad.
Yeah, it used to frustrate you because
it used to be really, really bad. You are going for your weekly briefs with clients and the client is only looking at one metric.
The money.
You're walking into a I'm meeting with a client and he has his accountant there and his sales manager. And the sales manager is saying that my graph has flatlined, right?
I'm not seeing it go. I want it to go, to shoot.
Absolutely. So I think a huge learning point for me there was it's then good to build systems, right? So it made me be a process guy, right? Because of that pain. And it was real pain. You know, you are spending sleepless nights working on something really good and the client does not appreciate that at all. Another thing that I must mention as well, so my background, as I've mentioned, is in graphic design, right? And as graphic designers, we have egos, right? We have big egos.
Well, okay. You shall mention that.
If you talk to any graphic designer, they want to tell you that graphic design output that I did is the best in the world.
Yeah,
right?
I've seen it.
Now, how do you handle a situation where you've spent a week working on a set of outputs,
and they tell you it's not
send it to the client, and they give you those 4-letter words?
They tell you this is
this is not working.
It's not what
this is not. Mind. This is not. When I see it, I'll know. There's no vavavoom. There's no oomph. You know the oomph? It's not popping. It's not slapping me in the face. You get what I mean?
Yeah. And you feel like you're being attacked. You're like, what are you telling me? Do you know how many hours I was on Photoshop?
Let me tell you, those guys, they just don't care. So I think being able to handle feedback, right? Yeah. And it's a tough skill you've got to develop, right?
Yeah.
Because there's issues to do with your professionalism, your ego as well, you know, especially say, for instance, if you've been able to churn out successful projects and you're churning out an output and the client is telling you, you know what, Fatuma,
this is not working for me.
This is not working at all. I mean, look at the colors you've used, right?
Did you read our brand guideline?
Did you read the brand guidelines?
They themselves have not even read it.
They haven't even read it.
They don't even know what their colors are.
So at some point I felt like opening up slides and educating the client on, you know, simple things like the color theory.
You should. They should.
Right?
It would come in handy.
Clients, we love you so much. Please come. However, please let's hold hands together. Right? By the way, I must mention here at this organization, we've been quite successful at building systems to ensure that the client and the agency actually work hand in hand when implementing projects. And I'm sure I've been fortunate as well in this organization to run some very successful campaigns that are in the website as well. So it's a very
mention them just for people who don't know what you're
for people who don't know. For people who don't know, now you know. You gotta know. The revolution is here and it will be televised. So I think while working here, I think some of the biggest campaigns that I'm really proud of was what we did with the Kenya Wildlife Service. We ran for them a campaign called Zuru. The long and short of it is that within a month, we ran a digital campaign, 100% digital. And we increased footfall from negative 96% during COVID to negative 4.
Wow.
Within a 30-day period. I remember on that particular December, on Christmas, on 24th, 25th, and 26th, at the main KWS park, there were so many people, the traffic jam went until Langata Road. Yes.
And that was just purely digital.
Purely digital.
Wow.
We didn't do anything above the line. And that's why I'm saying sometimes when you get a challenge and when you're working in a creative space, when you get a challenge, and you see the creative team building solutions and deploying those solutions and the solutions actually coming to life, it gives me goosebumps.
It actually does.
At some point during that campaign, we actually did limited series tickets. I think we did 1,000 bob for each of the packs that we had on that particular campaign. All those tickets were sold out within a day. Literally a day.
Imagine. I can imagine.
So it's pure joy, I think, for a creative, because you know, as creatives, you are heart people. You get attached to your work. We are really emotionally connected to these projects, bro. Like, you're gonna be sleeping and dreaming of that rhino, man. Like, I remember we did
for the first time, for the couple of months that I've been working with the creatives in my space, I always hear them alignments, nini. I hear the font, the nini. You know, a creative is eating lunch, but he's talking about that thing is not aligned. Did you see that thing? Is like, hey, relax.
Let me tell you, if the letter goes 1 pixel left,
yeah,
we're gonna have a problem with that creative.
Me, I'm thinking, see, this is looking okay. And then they're talking about anyway, job. I really wanted. There is this challenge that I was really hoping that you're going to mention, and because you haven't mentioned it, I'm going to remind you.
Okay.
And because I just want to understand. Like I said, I see you do remarkable job. I see you break down complex, communication, public relations, whatever, proposals and creative collaterals into very understandable concept. And I just wanted to ask, have you ever dealt with, or rather experienced, because I know you must have you ever experienced creativity block? If yes, how did you navigate from there? Because it happens to the best of us. There are those days when I want to write a proposal and I'm thinking I cannot start the first word. So I just want to know, as a graphic designer, as a creative individual, have you ever experienced, and how often do you experience it?
All the damn time. It happens, and it's really annoying.
Wow.
All the damn time. Let me tell you, all the time.
How do you navigate?
I think for me, that's actually a really solid question, to be honest. I experience a lot of blocks, like literally all the time. Yeah, when client comes, right? They want the best of the ideas, but you cannot. Actually, let me tell you the truth. Draft, if you're given a task as a creative, and this has been my experience, especially in my formative years, right? Let me choose a simple task. You've been told perhaps the client needs a particular poster for an event or a flyer, right? And you're struggling with designs, you're trying to look at the color, the font, and you've been given a day to that particular job, right? Whatever you'll do within the 8-hour period, so you have 8 hours to do it, right? For the first 6 hours, what you'll do will not even make it to the final design. It is the thing you'll be doing on the last 30 minutes when the deadline is just fast approaching. Like you're seeing the deadline here and it's coming like this. That's what's going to carry the day. Not to say that creatives are last minute people. Planning is essential. However, for me, I think one successful strategy that I use to handle my creative block is I just take a break. Yeah, I wanted to go to that point because, creatives are known to be very workaholics, You're just there. You want to work 8 hours in a day. With coffee on the table. Yeah, on the table. And you want to extend throughout the night, and whatnot. I really wanted you to emphasize on that break and how it is very important for you, someone's mental health, especially the creatives. It is, absolutely. There's a technique that I learned a bunch of years ago, I think about 5-6 years ago, called the Pomodoro technique. Yeah. So about the Pomodoro, I know right? Pomodoro, yeah. It's the hours that you put in. Like you can take Pomodoro talks about taking breaks after every other. Yes. When you're in that workflow, give it your best, and then when you need a break, just take it. Yeah, and then come back. Yes. Yeah. I know. So that just helps me out. Whether I'm developing a piece, whether I'm writing, I'm developing a concept for a podcast, whether I'm building an entire comm strategy, whether I'm doing a route to market strategy for a new product. It's something that you actually take very seriously. Absolutely. So to any creative that is just watching this podcast, kindly take your breaks very seriously. Please. Yeah? Guys, take a break. Right? It's okay. Take the walk. Carry your cup of coffee, carry your cup of tea. Take a break. Yeah, that design is not going to end if you take a walk and come back, it will still reach the client on time. Absolutely. Yeah? Which is last week. Anyway, final question. It was, I'm trying to summarize this whole thing because I'm realizing we are going so deep into it. This might be the longest episode, I don't know, because I have that feeling. I hope it's not. You said so much. Like there is a lot to learn that it cannot just be compressed into 30 minutes or days. Thank you. I just wanted final question. Actually, I was saying that if you could, not final. We have to end with something fun. So second to last question. Okay. I want you to advise individuals who are in the creative space, or rather not just creative space, but people who are already working in an agency, or someone who is just watching this podcast and maybe they're still in school or they're just starting out in their careers and they really hope to end up in an agency setting. What advice would you give to such kind of individuals? I think for me it's two things. Number one, take ownership of your projects. Oftentimes, and I think in my formative years, I used to have this feeling where you know, maybe perhaps you're working in an agency and you know they're being paid so much money for a particular project that you're doing, and so you start having the push and pull to whether give it your all or not, right? I think the first thing as a person, as a creative, just do your best. Own it. Do the work as if it's you, as if it's yours. You know, like, do it so that when your name is attached to that particular project, you're going to be proud of it, right? The second thing that I'm going to say, and this is really, really important for me, is continuous learning. So as a person, I read a lot, generally about even general topics, right? And you'll find what you study in, say, I read a lot of books on economics, on behavioral science, right? You find one or two concepts you'll be able to apply in your workspace. On the same point as well, the industry is growing so damn fast.
Yeah, it is.
It's growing so fast,
it is.
right? So there was a joke I saw the other day that guys, creatives don't worry about ChatGPT and AI.
Yeah, it's not going to take your work.
It's not going to take your work because clients don't even know how to describe what they want.
They don't. And chat is actually very strategic. If you just go and put it, it will be very generic unless you know how to use it. So,
so I think being continuous learning, just staying with the trends, knowing what's happening, and even better than that, setting your own trends. Every so often I do passion projects. I do projects that speak to my heart and speak to my journey, and they're creative projects and they're outside of commissioned work. So I think that helps a lot in, you know, just keeping your head grounded, and, you know, it helps you stay in the game as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Thank you.
very, very informative. Yeah.
Thank you.
I don't want to end this podcast, but let me end it with a very fun question. I want you to suggest.
Don't let it be a trick question, though.
It's going to be very. It's not. Don't even overthink it. I know creatives, you want to solve problems, but me, I'm here for fun.
Okay.
Vibes and.
Good vibes. Good vibes only.
So I want you to. You say that you read a lot. Do you listen to music?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
You obviously enjoy eating because everyone loves to eat.
So. It's not easy maintaining all of this. Have you seen all of this?
So I want you to suggest, what is the one book as a reader that you want, if you are told to suggest one book to every human being on this earth, which book will that be?
Apart from the Bible, that is, right?
No, we're not bringing in the.
We're not bringing the Bible in this conversation. If there's any book that I would recommend for guys to read,
Outliers.
Is a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell.
Okay. Outliers.
Malcolm Gladwell. And the reason I'm saying that is because the concepts that you've been thinking have been working, and some of the principles you think hold actually don't hold. Right?
Yeah.
Let me give you just one example, if you may allow me. So he talks about the fact that if you go to the sports world, this particular sport that he identifies in the book, he talks about the age, the birthdays of these sportsmen and women are all within a span of 3 months, which is really strange.
Very strange.
Can you imagine, like, all the top 90% athletes in the world, their birthdays are just 3 months apart?
It's very strange.
It's really, really strange, right?
Yeah.
So when he discovered that particular statistic, he actually went and did a study on why that is.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well,
that is why you must look for the book and read it.
Yeah, we are doing free marketing for Malcolm, but what can we say?
Yeah.
Which is a song that you'd recommend for any other person to listen to? One song. Don't pick the genre. Just say the song, name of the song, and the artist.
I'm a hip hop guy.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Lecrae.
Okay.
Can't Stop Me Now.
Can't Stop Me Now.
Can't Stop Me Now.
Awesome. Which is the one food that you feel every person should eat based on your...
Let me tell you, if you've never eaten ugali, managu, the vegetables, the traditional vegetables, and stewed fish. I don't even know why you're living, man.
What are you doing with your life?
What are you doing with your life?
For people who don't love fish, you're missing out.
Let me tell you. It's a fish you put in your mouth and then you just chomoa bones like this.
Anyway, that has been very interesting. Finally, I want you to describe yourself in one word.
Wow. You're hitting me hard, Fatuma, today, right? Okay,
I'm just trying to analyze
fantastic. You want me to describe myself in one word?
One word.
Grateful. I wake up every morning grateful.
Drum rolls, yeah? Yeah, that is going to be noise, but good noise.
Yes.
It's not easy to find people who describe themselves as being grateful. We always focus on confident, whatever. But yeah.
That's why I'm really grateful to be here. Yeah? Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you for making
Thanks for the viewers. Please like, share, subscribe. It's an amazing space to be. If you are a client, a future client, if you need any marketing, advertising, communication, let me tell you, this is the place to be. The team here is actually really, really solid.
Yeah, the place to be is called Crestwood Marketing and Communication Agency. It's located off Kilimani Road, just in case, because he had not mentioned that. Yeah. But anyway, on behalf of the team, you have been very, very amazing, and you have been very helpful for the duration that you've been here. I'm sure that just like any other person around here, you've been very point on, and we've learned a lot from you. And I really hope somehow we'll all reach at a place where we see a proposal, or rather we see a request for whatever, and we just think of approaching that thing with the perspective that, because you have a way of just breaking things down. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Now I see that you can actually sign us out. So I want you to tell our viewers to like, subscribe, share, and close it off, because
So to you, our viewer, thanks for listening to the podcast today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel.
Very important. Yeah. Thank you.
Crestwood comes, right? Crestwood comes.
Communication. Thank you once again.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Until the next time, we'll see where we'll see you. Bye bye.